Star Citizen have put out some meaty development information in the form of some monthly reports, looking at what Cloud Imperium have been working on over the last 10 weeks, and what they're working on now in January 2022, with Salvage, hacking, various ships, the economy, Pyro, jump points, and much more. It gives us a good insight into some of their focuses throughout this year. We will be looking at Star Citizen's persistent universe features today, ships and environments, that sort of stuff as well, in this video. And we will have another 2 videos, one for Squadron 42 updates and another for NPC, AI and engine updates, because there's quite a lot to cover and I want to break it down like that. Anyway, without further ado, let's look at some of the persistent universe feature stuff, starting with ships. Work on the Miscull A has progressed well. Most of the interior is now in the final art stage. The landing gear and extending cargo mechanism, along with the levels of detail stuff, are complete and are now ready to be handed over to tech art. The Hull C is currently approaching its grey box review. They have converted its materials to hard surface shaders, adding control panels throughout the ship, and refining the pilot seat for optimal visibility. The RSI Scorpius moves through the white box phase before grey box work commenced in December. Most of the exterior work was completed by the end of the year, including the wings, thrusters, landing gear, and canopy. An all-new vehicle progressed through white box. Now, could this be the consolidated Outland hoverbike? Well, if it was that, it'd probably be further through than just white box. It's probably the mobile refinery ship, but we'll have to wait and see. While the Banu Merchantman has progressed towards grey box. That's great to hear that the Banu Merchantman is doing well through its active development. The Drake Vulture's interior reached final art with just a lighting pass remaining. The exterior colours and wear were worked on, as were levels of detail for the landing gear, while the internal damage pass has also begun. The Drake Corsair moved into grey box, and art was finalised for the cockpit and mess hall. Moving on to vehicle features, towards the end of 2022, vehicle features focused on grab the lev rework stuff. They wrapped up the base implementation and tuned the bikes for improved stability and handling. Vehicle features said, "We are incredibly pleased with how the community helped us hone in the features for release. There are still some issues we need to fix for 2022, but we're generally quite happy with how the rework turned out." Technical reworks are being planned and started for transit networks and restricted areas. While these won't result in significant changes to the player experience, particularly in the case of transit, they will result in far fewer bugs and much greater stability. These sorts of reworks are necessary because longer term, they free the team up to focus on either new features or improve other aspects of the game. There was a major focus on jump points, which are apparently progressing well. They are currently working on abnormal exits, which are situations where a player might exit a jump point prematurely or not in the usual way, or in a safe way. For example, a player falling out the back of their ship, the powering down of the jump point, or a jump drive failing. This sounds amazing and terrifying. Cloud Imperium said, "Dealing with all the possible cases in a sensible and consistent way is a tricky problem, but the result is a feature that has a genuine sense of risk and danger to its use, so it's important we get it right." I hope there are some ways of semi-auto traversing jump points, or I can leave it to an NPC that's not gonna screw it up. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be an interesting one. Gameplay features focused heavily on tasks for releases in 2022. They are wrapping up with implementation of the new selling gameplay system. This required an under-the-hood rework of existing shop systems, which will act as the foundation for the initial implementation that's planned for release shortly. The updated kiosk UI for this and the code behind it is trending towards completion for Q1. The cargo rework is ongoing but intermittent as supporting work from other teams comes online. They are using the time between these jumps to work on small quality of life fixes where possible. The team also worked and released on Jumptown version 2. Systemic services and tools wrapped up work on the economy, tools and AI simulation, optimizations, and tools polish. New functionality will be added to these tools in Q1. After some successful work on the inventory system, they've also begun working on Salvage. The initial focus was on technical aspect of visually removing material from an object and ensuring its state can be reliably stored and recreated both across the network and when the object streams back in. This is currently being prototyped. Work on the hacking minigame continued. It has gone through multiple iterations, with each prototype being playtested internally using a simplified 2D in-game representation. It has since evolved to be more competitive tying into some of the in-world gameplay mechanics like scanning, as the core layout of the minigame has remained fairly stable throughout multiple prototypes. Work began on bringing the visuals online. The concepts for this saw multiple iterations, with it currently looking like the player is executing scripts to attack a system with its programs and all that sort of jazz. Beep, 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 beep. I'm an internet hacker. Beep, beep, beep. The interface, as it currently stands, will offer the user different options to input various commands. Narrative met with mission features to start work on additional mission content, determining what kinds of lines would be needed for the audio work there, and discussed content for future dynamic events as well. So we're going to see more dynamic events probably this year. Let's move on to the environments. So lighting, they did a load of stuff for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. There's fresh new lighting in the convention halls. They said at this stage it's all about ensuring each ship has a light rig on it that shows it off in the best possible way, while maintaining render budgets to keep the experience smooth. After optimizing loads of ships and their lighting and stuff, they did move on to Pyro space stations, further developing their look and feel and doing some visual benchmarking. The props team continued to work on these stations in Pyro as well. This included refining the new trash assets, creating a modular set of improvised marketplace counters, making heating and light props, and doing other dressing and flavour elements such as generators and fuse boxes. They also worked on additional underground facility mission props and several hospital props, that sort of stuff as well. The initial white box work was done for the upcoming lockable, lootable crates and cargo for the ongoing cargo refactor. Elsewhere, further tweaks were made to the planetary storm effects to help them pick up the lighting more naturally. They also did some R&D work for Salvage. UI continued to update features for persistent streaming and supported the visual implementation of the refueling HUD. Progress has been made on the core tech and feature set of the new star map. For example, they added display controls to modify relative distance, orientation, and scale, and the ability to frame selected objects appropriately. Talking about sort of improving environments, I suppose, the character art team updated the DNA head archetypes, which should see improvements to heads and eyes in Alpha 3.17. Some of the team focused on frontier-style outfits for Pyro, while others worked on a series of generic Stanton outfits from the backlog that will start to appear in-game shortly. To close out the year, the tech animation team set a mandate to finish upgrading all head assets to the new pipeline in preparation for the new DNA system refactor. This is a long-standing initiative that will hopefully conclude early 2022. Just a quick little note from QA, the primary publishing focus was getting Alpha 3.15.1 out and then 3.16 out to the PTU and live over the last couple of months. However, 3.16 wasn't stable enough, so they decided to use Alpha 3.15.x and piecemeal specific features in it. This worked well, so the internal branch ID is 3.15.2. Externally, version we're currently playing of Star Citizen is 3.16, but it is technically and actually 3.15.2. So sort of bear that in mind. It has led to a pretty stable build though. They also say time was spent hiring additional team members as the department expands, which makes sense seeing that Cloud Imperium are hiring massively this year for their hugely expanded studios, especially in the UK and Frankfurt. Boom! That's it for your Star Citizen Persistent Universe update from the monthly report. Basically just a little summary of that. I'm very much looking forward to Pyro jump points and all those gameplay features there, hacking, salvage, all that sort of jazz. Hopefully, most of which will be with us later this year. The cargo refactor is very exciting, being able to sell things to shops, lots more things to shops. That's going to be pretty cool. But what do you think? What will we see this year? What won't quite make it? What do you think the most important feature is, or are you waiting for a particular ship? Do you think we'll see the Banu Merchantman at the end of the year, or is that madness? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And please remember, we will be covering Squadron 42, and separately in another video, AI, NPCs, and engine updates from these monthly reports. What is best in life? To crush your enemies? To see them driven before you? And to hear the lamentations of their women? No, of course not. It's NordVPN. I never saw Conan the Barbarian checking his bank balance and then watching some cool shows on Netflix, all while protecting his privacy and being super secure. To be honest, I can't even remember Conan wearing a shirt. Silly Conan. And now, a big old snake god's got your internet history. Good job. Don't be a Conan the Barbarian, check out NordVPN, links below for powerful discounts too. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For January 2022, it's for a Drake Cutlass Steel, a light assault dropship variant of the Cutlass, perfect for attacking Jumptown and similar narcotic processing areas. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that Star Citizen ship is comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details down below. If you would like to further support the channel, consider clicking the join button under my videos or becoming a Patreon. Comments, suggestions, likes and shares all help the channel massively too, so always feel welcome to share your opinion or feedback. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the verse.